Good day, my dear 7th class students. I am going to teach you another lesson in English in chapter 2 or unit 2. If after I complete this lesson, so with the completion of this portion, will be finishing 2 units. So before I start teaching, once again, it is very important that you have the books, and so far we have about 150 videos for various classes in various subjects. So I want you to have the books in front of you when you watch the video. In your class or for your class, there are several videos were taken in English, maths, perhaps Telugu too. Anyway, the important thing is that you have to have the books in front of you when you watch the video. Then it will be very, very useful. So, with that, I am going to proceed with the teaching of this lesson. This lesson has a lot of some Indian words that were used in our ancient books. So, and surprisingly, I didn't see any meanings given here in the textbook. So, after I teach this lesson, I may take one more class, just teach the lesson again and do some exercises, and then you have another part which completes all the exercises. So that means this unit 2 part C reading probably takes three lectures. First lecture is the one that I am going to teach you now. The second one is I will repeat this lesson with some meanings of the words and all that, and maybe we'll do a little bit of a couple of exercises if possible. Then we'll talk about the third part, which is completely the exercises, grammar and all that. Okay? Now, this lesson is about Susruta. Is a very ancient subject. You can see here Susruta, an ancient plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is very, nowadays it is there, but it's very, very, very expensive. It's like almost like suppose somebody has a deformity in the face or somewhere, you want to correct it. Basically, the surgeon takes flesh from another part of the body where it is not visible, take that and put it on and then do some stitching and all that. So, you will learn more about that when I read the lesson. This is a very expensive one. It's very difficult. There may be very few plastic surgeons in India or all over the world. It's a very, very expensive proposition, and also sometimes it may be very dangerous. Basically, you are cutting the flesh from one place and then putting it on at another place. It is not that easy. Anyway, so this lesson, about Susruta, and in summary, I will give you a brief overview of the lesson. One day, while Susruta is taking rest, then somebody comes and practically slams on the door. When somebody is in a pain, so or if somebody wants something to be done urgently, so you will be slamming at the door. So Susruta there is no power. We are talking about several centuries back. Okay? So, he takes a lantern, kerosene lantern, and goes to the door. There he sees a person kneeling down and in a lot of pain. So Susruta tells him, okay son, you'll be okay, just come inside. So he takes the boy or a person inside, he cleans it and he applies some medicine. Medicine means not these ointments. All he has is something made out of plants or leaves. So he applies different things. Then he cuts a part of the cheek. This person who came, his nose is very much damaged. So to bring the nose to the normal shape, he takes a piece of meat from the cheek and cuts it, takes it out, and then puts it on that. And it's like a patchwork. Cycle tube, when the tube is burst, what do? You take a patch of rubber and try to paste it on that. Just like that, this person, Susruta, takes a piece of flesh from the cheek, puts it on the nose, brings it to the normal shape, and tries to apply some medicines and ointments and some essence from the leaves. So, and then all this means it's a lot of pain. It's a lot of pain because when you cut piece of flesh from your cheek, it is very painful. So that he used, nowadays we use anesthesia, but in those days there is no anesthesia, so he used a little bit of wine, the Rakshasa that was actually only the pain kunchu kadutare. So then he treats him and then gives him some medicine and also tells him what to do and what not to do. Hello? And he tells him what to do and what not to do. And then he asks him to come and visit him after a few weeks just to know how he is doing, whatever he did, how good or how successful it is. So that's all the incident that happened. Then we learn a little bit about Dr. Susruta, the famous ancient surgeon. He is not the modern surgeon. He is an ancient surgeon. It's very interesting to see how he performed the operation, how well he did it, how confidently he did it, and that you will learn when I read it. So basically, this story is about Susruta, a famous ancient plastic surgeon. So one day, midnight, somebody comes and slams on the door. He opens the door, takes a lantern. Lantern, and then approaches the door, and then opens the door and sees a person in pain. And he asked the boy, well, we had the power outage and we got the power. So, I was telling you, a traveler who slams on the door because his nose is twisted and he got hurt. So, when Susruta heard the noise, he takes a lantern, long physically, open jesi, one day, Ramachan. And then, of course, Susruta is a very, very ancient, famous, very confident surgeon. So he performs the operation and then he gives some medicines to him and I'll ask him to get some more and then he will tell him what to do and what not to do, do's and don'ts. And then ask him to come after few weeks. Okay? That's all that will happen. After that, we learn a little bit more about Dr. Susruta, the ancient, famous plastic surgeon. Okay? So here is, if you look at page number 37, the story starts, and then you see him on the next page. That is the page number 38. You can see him, Dr. Susruta, making some mentions for the patient, and then you also see some instruments here that he used to perform the operation. And a lot of those tools are being used even nowadays also. A tool is a tool, whether you, but he, at that time, he didn't have all the modern tools, but he used with some stones and things like that. But anyway, let me move to the story. So I gave you the brief outline of the story. A traveler in pain with some wounds on the nose, slams on the door of Susruta. Susruta opens the door, brings back the traveler to come in, and then Susruta cleans the wounded part, and then takes some part of the flesh from his cheek, does the plastic surgeon operation, and then he will a wound దెబ్బతైన అంతటినీ దానికి కొన్ని మందులు అవన్నీ పౌడర్లని వేసి జరుగుతాడు. Then he also gives wine to subdue the అంటే తనకున్న పెయిన్ తగ్గించడానికి కొంచెం వైన్ కూడా ఇస్తాడు. ఓకే, then we learn about Susruta, what he is and what is his contribution to the modern medical world. Okay, modern to the humanity. Okay, let me see it here. Okay, all right, you got it right. Now, it was midnight when Susruta was awakened by a frantic knocking on the door. Frantic. It was midnight, almost Artharatri time when Susruta was awakened. Then was by a frantic knocking at the door. Who is up there? Asked the aged doctor. Susruta is very aged. Who is out there? Taking a lighted lamp torch from its socket in the wall and approaching to the door. A lighted socket ఉంటుంది లాంగ్ తీసి తీసుకుని వెళ్ళి డోర్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్తూ అన్నాడు. ఏమన్నాడు? Who is out there? ఎవరిది అన్నట్టు. I'm a traveler. My revered Susruta was the anguished reply. I'm a traveler. నేను ఒక ప్రయాణికుడిని అని చెప్పి మై రివార్డ్ అంటే రెస్పెక్టెడ్ Susruta అని అన్నాడు. ఏమన్నాడు? ఎవరన్నది వాళ్ళది యాంగ్విష్డ్ రిప్లై. యాంగ్విష్డ్ అంటే తీవ్రమైన బాధతో ఉన్నటువంటి బాధలో ఉన్నవాడు ఎలా మామూలు మాట్లాడు కదా, ఆ బాధతో కూడిన ఆ వాయిస్తో మాట్లాడినాడట. ఏ ట్రాజడీ హెల్ప్ befallen on me, I need your help. ఒక ట్రాజడీ దుఃఖం, ఒక పెద్ద బ్యాడ్ థింగ్ దట్ హ్యాపెండ్ టు మీ. ఓకే, ఆపద జరిగింది, నాకు పెద్ద ఆపద జరిగింది. I need your help. నీ యొక్క సహాయం కావాలి. Susruta opened the door. తీశాడట. What he saw was a man kneeling before him. కాలు ముడుకులు గీసి ఉన్నాడట. Before him, tears flowing from his eyes. కళ్ళ నీళ్లు కారుతున్నాయి. And blood from his disfigured nose. ఆ disfigured మామూలుగా అనుకున్నాను, disfigured nose నుండి బ్లడ్ వస్తుందంట. ఓకే, get up my son and coming, said Susruta. నా son, అబ్బాయి నాన్న అన్నాడు. నాన్న ప్రేమతో మాట్లాడుతున్నాడు. నాన్న ఇప్పుడు డాక్టర్ అలా మాట్లాడాడు. Get up my son and coming. రానన్నా అని said Susruta. Everything will be all right, but be quiet now. మరిక everything will be all right. అంత బాగుంటుంది, బట్ బీ క్వైట్. వచ్చి మా లోనికి వచ్చి అని ఆటం కాదు. బీ క్వైట్గా ఉండమన్నాడు. He led the stranger to a neat and clean room. Strange room ki తీసుకెళ్ళాడు. With surgical instruments, room around it, with surgical instruments on its wall. All the instruments on one walls. And ఇప్పుడు ఏంటి సర్జికల్ ఆపరేషన్ అంటే నర్సెస్ ఉంటారు, టూల్స్ అవి చాలా ఉంటాయి. 10-15 మంది ఉంటారు. ఇక్కడ ఎవరు లేరు. Who is there? Only Susruta. He has to perform. He has to do everything. He has no helper. He is all by himself. He washed his face with water. Face also water to clean, and the juice of a medicinal plant ఓ మెడిసినల్ ప్లాంట్ వచ్చిన జ్యూస్ రసంతో కడిగాడట. హీ దెన్ ఆఫర్డ్ హిమ్ ఏ మగ్ ఆఫ్ వైన్. అప్పుడు ఒక మగ్గ నుండి మగ్తో వైన్ అంటే ద్రాక్ష రసం ఇచ్చాడట. అండ్ బిగాన్ ప్రిపేరింగ్ ఫర్ ది ఆపరేషన్. అలా ఇచ్చేసి వెంటనే ఆపరేషన్ చేయడానికి తయారయ్యాడట. Now look at page 38. Like I mentioned earlier, you can see Susruta and the weapons that he used. Okay? Alright. It's a large leaf of creeper brought from the garden. He measured the size of the stranger's nose. ఏం చేశాడు? ఒక పెద్ద ఆకు తీసుకొని మరి కొలలు కదా, ఎంత ముట్టు కావాలి, ఎంత కొలిసి ఎంత మీకు ఎంత ముట్టు దీన్ని ప్యాచ్ చేయాలి అని చేయాలి కదా. అయితే he took a big leaf with a large leaf of a creeper. Creeper అంటే తెలుసు, creepers, bushes ఇవన్నీ చదివారు. creeper ఇప్పుడు రాకేది. It brought from the garden. He measured the size of the stranger's nose. Nose కొలిచాడట. Taking a knife and 4 steps from the wall, he held them over a flame and cut a strip of flesh from the stranger's cheek. అప్పుడు ఏం చేశాడు? ఒక నైఫ్, టేకింగ్ ఎ నైఫ్ అండ్ 4 steps from the wall తీసుకొని he held them over a flame, బాగా వేడిగా కాల్చాడట. కాల్చిన తర్వాత and cut a strip of flesh from the stranger's cheek. ఆ బుట్ట నుండి చిన్న ముక్క కట్ చేశాడట. The man moaned, బాధపడ్డాడు, ఎందుకంటే కట్ చేస్తున్నాడు కదా. బట్ ద వైన్ హ్యాడ్ నమ్డ్ హిస్ సెన్సెస్. కానీ అయినా ఈ వైన్ ఏం చేసింది, వైన్ తాగడం వల్ల కొంచెం వాడికి నమ్ముడు అంటే కొంచెం స్పర్శజ్ఞానం లేకుండా చేసిందట. ఆఫ్టర్ బ్యాండేజింగ్ ది కట్ ఇన్ ది చీక్, Susruta cautiously inserted 2 pipes into stranger's nostril and transported the flesh to his disfigured nose. ఏం చేయడంలో మరి స్టేట్ వండిపోయింది కదా, సో స్టేట్ చేయాలి కదా. సో పైపులు 2 పైపులు ఈ ముక్కు 2 కణాల నుండి పెట్టాడట. పెట్టి అప్పుడు తీసిన పీసులు అన్నీ పెట్టి ప్యాక్ చేశాడట. మళ్ళీ అవి రీడ్ అయ్యాయి. ఆఫ్టర్ బ్యాండేజింగ్ ది కట్ ఇన్ ది చీక్, కట్ చేశాడు కదా, నన్ను బ్యాండేజ్ చేశాడు. అప్పుడు ఏం చేశాడు? సుశ్రుత కాషస్లీ జాగ్రత్తగా ఇన్సర్టెడ్ 2 pipes into stranger's nostrils. Nostrils అంటే ఇవి ముక్కు రంధ్రాలు కదా, వాటిలో పెట్టాడట. అండ్ ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంటెడ్ ద ఫ్లెష్ టు ది డిస్ఫిగర్డ్ నోస్. అక్కడ ఎక్కడైతే ఆ నోసు దెబ్బతిపోయిందో అక్కడ ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంట్ చేస్తారు. ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంటింగ్ అంటాం. Molding the flesh into the shape, he dusted the nose with powdered licorice, red sandalwood, and an extract of Indian barberry. Okay? ఏం చేశాడట? మోల్డింగ్ ది ఫ్లెష్ ఫ్లెష్ చేసి he dusted the nose మీద పౌడర్లో చల్లాడు. ఏంటి? పౌడర్ లికరీస్ అదో మత్తు పదార్థం లాంటిది, దాన్ని కూడా చల్లాడట. రెడ్ శాండల్వుడ్ అండ్ అన్ ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియన్ బార్బరీ అంటే ఇవి పళ్ళు, చిన్న పళ్ళు, ఈ రేగుడు పళ్ళు అండి, రకరకాల పళ్ళు, వాటి యొక్క వాటిని తీసిన ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ అని చల్లాడు. He then enveloped the nose in cotton. అవన్నీ వేసేసి మళ్ళీ కాటన్తోది కట్ చేయడట. Sprinkle some refined oil of sesame. అదంతా కట్టి బ్యాండేజ్ కట్ చేయాలని ఏం చేయడు? జల్లాడు. ఏం జల్లాడు? రిఫైన్డ్ ఆయిల్ ఆఫ్ సెసమి. సెసమి అంటే నువ్వుల యొక్క రిఫైన్డ్ ఆయిల్తో దాన్ని జల్లాడట. అండ్ ఫైనలీ పుట్టే బ్యాండేజ్ పెట్టాడు. సీ వాట్ హి డిడ్. ముందు ఏం చేశాడు? అబ్బాయికి బాగా మురుగుతున్నాడు బాబుతో. వెంటనే వైన్ కొంచెం ఇచ్చాడు, కొంచెం చల్లబడాలి. అప్పుడు ఏం చేశాడు? తన వాళ్ళు ఉన్నటువంటి ముందు Susruta cautiously inserted 2 pipes in the stranger's nostrils. 2 పైపులు తీసుకొని స్ట్రేంజర్స్ నాస్ట్రిల్స్లో పెట్టి ఈ ముక్కు తీసుకొని దాని మీద అంటించాడు. మళ్ళీ చూడండి. ఆఫ్టర్ బ్యాండేజింగ్ ది కట్ ఇన్ ది చీక్, Susruta cautiously inserted 2 pipes into the stranger's nostril and transported the flesh to the disfigured nose. చేసిన చేశాడు? మోల్డింగ్ ది ఫ్లెష్ ఇంటు ది షేప్, he dusted some nose with powdered licorice, red sandalwood, and extract of Indian barberry అని చేశాడు. He then enveloped the nose in cotton. దాని మీద కాటన్ వేసాడు, ఎన్వలప్ చేశాడు. Sprinkle some refined oil of sesame యొక్క oil jealousy, and finally put the bandage. That's how he did it. Before the traveler left, he was given instructions on what to do and what not to, and a list of medicines and herbs he has to take regularly. కొన్ని medicines, herbs, there are even medicinal plants వచ్చినటువంటి మూలికలు. ఆ మూలికలు ఎన్నో ఇది చెప్పాడు, ఏది వాడని చెప్పాడు. ఇట్స్ నాట్ లైక్ గోయింగ్ టు ఏ మెడికల్ స్టోర్ అండ్ గెటింగ్ ఆస్పిరిన్ లేకపోతే some other ointment, not like that. Okay, so before the traveler left, he was given instructions on what to do and what not to. ఏం చేయాలి, ఇప్పుడు మనం చెప్తున్నాం డాక్టర్ పప్పులు తినకూడదు, ఇంకేం చేయకూడదు అని చేయకూడదు అంటే కదా వాటిని ఏంటంటారు, జనరల్ మెడికల్ వాట్ టు డూ. మనం డాక్టర్ గారు మందులు చెప్పినప్పుడు పథ్యం చెప్తారు, పథ్యాలని చెప్తారు. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్తాడు ఈయన, వాట్ టు డూ అండ్ వాట్ నాట్ టు డూ చెప్పి ఇవి తిన్నానా ఇవి తినకూడదు అలాగే. తర్వాత ఏమో ఏం చేయడు, ఏ పురుషులు వాడాలి అవన్నీ కూడా చెప్పాడు. చెప్పిన తర్వాత he was also asked to come back after a few weeks to be examined. కొన్ని వారాల తర్వాత మళ్ళీ నేను చూస్తాను అన్నాడు. In this manner, Susruta mended a nose some 26 centuries ago. అంటే 2600 years back, not now. 6,600 years back. So that is what Susruta is about. And what he did is not greatly different from what a plastic surgeon would do today. In fact, Susruta is today recognized as the father of plastic surgery all over the world. ప్రపంచంలోనే చూసారా మన ఇండియన్ సైంటిస్ట్ ఎంత గొప్పవాడు వీడు. Susruta today, even today, is recognized as the father of plastic surgery all over the world. Plastic surgery యొక్క తండ్రి. మనం మహాత్మా గాంధీ జాతి పితామహుడు అంటామో, సో ఈ సర్జరీ కూడా ఆయన పితామహుడు. ఆయన నుండి నేర్చుకున్నాను అన్నమాట అలజడార్థం. ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ సో అయిపోయింది కదా. హిస్ treatise Susruta Samhita has considerable medical knowledge of relevance even today. ఈ రోజు కూడా దాని యొక్క చాలా ఆ బుక్లో ఈ treatise అంటే చాలా విషయం. ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఎ బుక్ ఆర్ ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఎ పబ్లికేషన్, వాట్ ఎవర్ హీ రోట్. ఆ రోజుల్లో పేపర్ ఉండకపోవచ్చు, ఈ మైట్ హావ్ రిటన్ ఆయన తాటిపత్రాల మీద ఏమో రాసిపోయాడేమో, మరి అది నాకు తెలియదు. Okay, it indicates that India was far ahead of the rest of the world in medical knowledge. ఆ రోజుల్లో కూడా మనం ఇండియా ఈజ్ ఫార్ అహెడ్ విత్ మెడికల్ knowledge లో మనం ఫార్ అహెడ్ అని. ఓకే, born in the 6th century BC, Susruta was a descendant of Vedic sage Vishwamitra. విశ్వామిత్రుడి యొక్క ఏంటి ఎప్పుడు 6th century BCలో అప్పుడు పుట్టాడు. Born in the 6th century BC, Susruta was a descendant. అతనికి శిష్యుడు. ఎవరు శిష్యుడు? వేదిక్ సేజ్ విశ్వామిత్రుడి యొక్క శిష్యుడు అట. He learned surgery and medicine at the feet of Devadasa Dhanvantari in the hermitage of Varanasi. వారణాసిలో ఉన్న చిన్న మూలనుడి ఒక హెమిటేజ్ ఒక నివాసం నుండి ఆశ్రమం నివాసం నుండి అక్కడ నేర్చుకున్నాడట. He became an authority in not only surgery but also in other branches of medicine. అవే కాదు, other branches of medicine కూడా he has gotten or he was regarded as one of the best doctors. So now born in the 6th century BC, Susruta was a descendant of the Vedic sage Vishwamitra. He learned surgery and medicine at the feet of Devadasa Dhanvantari in the hermitage at Varanasi. Later he became an authority in not only surgery but also in other branches of medicine. He was the first physician to advocate what is today is known as cesarean operation. Cesarean operation antam. When a lady is pregnant, you can have a natural birth or cesarean antam. Basically they cut the stomach and the area around there and take the baby out rather than the natural birth. He is the one that initially started that. So he was the first physician to advocate what is today known as the cesarean operation. When the baby is in a bad shape, unless if the baby is taken, if mother and baby are in danger, then you use the cesarean operation. He was also an expert in removing urinary stones. మన urinary మన stones అంటాం. ఆ స్టోన్స్ లొకేటింగ్ అండ్ ట్రీటింగ్ ఫ్రాక్చర్స్ ఇప్పుడైతే మనకి ఎక్స్రేలు ఇవన్నీ చేస్తున్నాం. అప్పుడు అలా కాదు, అది చూడడం చూసి దాని నుండే లొకేట్ చేసేవాడు, వాటిని ట్రీట్ చేసేవాడు. అండ్ డూయింగ్ ఐ ఆపరేషన్ ఫర్ క్యాటరాక్ట్. ఆ రోజుల్లో కూడా 2600 years బ్యాక్ క్యాటరాక్ట్ ఆపరేషన్లో చేసేవాడు. ఓ మై గాడ్, అర్థమైందా? అర్థమైంది మీకు? ఈ సజెషన్ to give wine to patients about they operated upon makes him also the father of anesthesia. Instead of his suggestion to give wine ఇస్తున్నాడు అక్కడ మత్తు రావడానికి. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాము? anesthesia ఇస్తున్నాం. ఓకే, ఆల్ రైట్, ఓకే. Now, in his treatise, Susruta lists 101 types of instruments. తను రాసినటువంటి ఆ బుక్ ఆ కలెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లికేషన్స్, దానిలో సుశ్రుత లిస్ట్ 101 టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్ చేశాడట. ఈస్ సందంస యంత్రాస్ ఆర్ ది ఫస్ట్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ మోడర్న్ సర్జన్స్, స్ప్రింగ్ ఫోర్సెస్ అండ్ డైసెక్షన్ అండ్ డ్రెస్సింగ్ ఫోర్సెస్. దాని వాడిని ఇక్కడ ఫోర్సెస్ ఏమిటి? సర్జన్స్ స్ప్రింగ్ ఫోర్సెస్, డైసెక్షన్ అండ్ డ్రెస్సింగ్ ఫోర్సెస్, ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఏమైనా ఈజ్ సంతంస యంత్రాస్. ఓకే. In fact, his system of naming surgical tools after the animals are bird, they resemble in shape. For example, crocodile forceps, heart's bill forceps is adopted even today. And each and 2020 ఈ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్ అన్ని యానిమల్స్ పేరుతో కలిపారు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ హియర్ crocodile forceps, heart's bill forceps, heart and delta is adopted even today. Susruta was also an excellent teacher. He is also a very good teacher. He told his pupil that one could become a good physician only if one knew both theory and practice. If you want to become a good physician, you have to learn both theory as well as practice. He advised his pupils to use carcasses and model for practice before surgery. అదేమన్నాడు? He advised his pupils to use carcasses and model for practice before. Carcasses అంటే చచ్చిపోయినటువంటి యానిమల్స్ని వాటిని డైజెస్ట్ చేసి వాటిని నేర్చుకోమంటున్నాడు. He advised his pupils to use carcasses and models for practice before surgery. సర్జరీ తను చేసే ముందు వాటిని చూసి వాటి నుండి నువ్వు నేర్చుకొని అప్పుడు యాక్చువల్ ఆపరేషన్స్ చేయమని అన్నాడట. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ సుశ్రుత. సో వన్స్ అగైన్ ఐ వాంట్ టు finish this portion of teaching by concluding. This is about Susruta, an ancient plastic surgeon about 2600 years ago. This initially starts with a story and then it talks about him, about Susruta, his knowledge and his contribution to the mankind. So one day it so happened in the midnight, some traveler came and practically slamming on the door, and Susruta was sleeping. So he was awakened by the noise on the door, by somebody slamming on the door. So he takes a lantern, goes to the door. There he sees a man kneeling down with blood on his nose. So Susruta invites him into the house and takes him to the room where there is a operation surgical operation bed and a lot of instruments and all that. So there he takes him, and first what he does is he gives him a mug of wine because he is in great pain. He is mourning, MOANING. బాగా చాలా తీవ్రమైన బాధతో చాలా మూలుగుతూ ఉన్నాడు అన్నమాట. మూలిగి అంటే మూలుగుతూ ఉన్నాడు. సో వచ్చేది ఆ బాధ తగ్గించాలి కదా, అందుగురించని ఈ గేవ్ హిమ్ ఏ మగ్ ఆఫ్ వైన్, ద్రాక్షరసంతో ఇచ్చాడు. అది కొంచెం కొంతవరకు ఆయనకి కొంచెం చేసింది. తర్వాత దెన్ వాట్ హీ డెడ్ ఈజ్ he has some wound on the nose. So for that he took a leaf, a big leaf, and then measured the size of the nose, and then cut a cheek from his cheek. He cut a piece of flesh, took it out, and then there he put all the bandage and all that, make it safe, and then take the flesh. And first of all, of course, he cleaned the nose and surrounding area, and then he put the piece of flesh, piece of and on the nose, where carefully he inserted two pipes into the nostrils, and then put this piece over that, and then did some spraying the powder and all that. That's all given in the textbook. That's how he did the surgery. This is what we are talking about is 2,600 years back. So that is our knowledge. And he doesn't have any nurses there. He does not have an operation theater. He does not have the most modern instrument, laser beams, nothing. All he has is some herbs. All he has only herbs and some instruments. He named them in the name of some animals like crocodile and all that, and he has some of the instruments are even made out of stone. So anyway, he is considered as the father of plastic surgery because he performed the surgery even 2,600 years back, and his contribution to not only to surgery, and he contributed to the other branches of medicine also. Here he shows all the instruments that he used during the operation. He has written some books, and under books there are some we call it as a treatise, and Susruta has some that he has named them Susruta Samhita and something like that. So we will address them a little bit more next time. I will write down all the difficult words here and then make you familiar. Okay? So it's a very interesting. I know a little bit about Susruta, but after reading this, I learned a lot more about Susruta, the ancient plastic surgeon. I really thank the 7th class student to giving me an opportunity to learn more about Susruta, and thereby I am able to teach you more, whatever little I know, whatever I understand. It's a very, 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 very interesting lesson. Every Indian should be proud of our ancient history. You can see there are ancient capitals, right? And what is it? Jantar Mantar, Qutub Minar, Charminar, Taj Mahal, Ajanta Ellora caves, that side. Whereas in the medicine also, Susruta is considered as father of surgery. He has written a book, he has given a lot of guidelines and all that. Okay, I am very happy to teach you guys with this as a lesson. I learned a lot about Susruta. I didn't think about his operation 2,600 years ago. It's not that far. I could not go that far. Very good. And thank you very much. I hope you understood it. Next time, like I said, I will take some important words here because I didn't notice, I noticed that the difficult words are not addressed in the textbook. I don't know why it is not, they are not addressed. So I'm going to mark them up and then explain them, and then maybe do a little bit of exercises, and finally in part 3 I will finish the grammar portion. But again, we are having a break between the presentation 1 or 2 and the last one 3, because I don't see a lot of students calling me with questions. I want to, there is no point in me explaining the grammar or the doing the exercise at the end of the lesson unless you understand the lesson, okay? So, talk to your parents, get the books, watch the video along with the books, and do the best you can. The COVID, Corona, should not stop you. Whether there is school or no school, your education should not be stopped. That is the goal of Susruta Vidyalaya. And the founders of Susruta Vidyalaya, my Srimati Jayalakshmi and Samsara Allada, they have given clear instruction that we have to keep busy in these difficult days and let them learn more. That there not be any interruption in their learning process. So, if you like the class, share it, and thank you very much.